We begin with a story you'll only see here on WUSA 9, and thanks for joining us on the news at 6. I'm Leslie Foster. Tonight, hundreds of people hired to clear D.C. streets and haul away all that heavy frozen snowcrete that paralyzed our city back in January. They still have not been paid. Some of them are owed tens of thousands of dollars. These are the same people we saw working those long shifts around the clock in miserable conditions to get the city up running again so we could all move around. Months later, D.C. leaders and one of the companies hired to clear the streets are now pointing fingers, blaming each other for the pay dispute. Chief Investigative Reporter Eric Flack has our exclusive investigation.
District Logistics says the reason it has not paid all of its subcontractors for snow removal during January's historic storm is simple. D.C. government hasn't paid them.
And that is the reason why this delay has happened. So when people are scrambling like, where's my money?
Questions about District Logistics first surfaced last week after D.C. leaders told WUSA 9 the city awarded the company a $4.5 million snow removal contract, yet 115 subcontractors who did the actual work were still owed money. But COO David Hawkins says that $4.5 million was paid out for snow removal done earlier in the winter and for salting streets before the massive January storm even hit.
If people are running around here thinking that we have millions of dollars and just sitting and not paying people, that can be dangerous.
District Logistics says these trucks and their subcontractors worked round the clock clearing D.C. streets during the snow emergency. And all these months later, the company says they are still owed tens of millions of dollars by D.C. government. D.C. offered to pay District Logistics $14.5 million for the January storm. The company accepted, but only as a partial payment. The city is refusing to pay an additional $11 million, citing federal limits on trucker hours. District Logistics says those limits are suspended during snow emergencies and that the city never told them to stop working.
And when it was emergency and it was all needed, it was fine. But now that it's over and it's nice and sunny out here, all right, where's the compensation?
In April, D.C. government issued a stop work order on District Logistics contracts to investigate what it called contractor responsibility issues, including owner Robert Terrell's failure to disclose he was under federal indictment. Terrell is accused of defrauding the federal government of $1.85 million in COVID-era aid in a completely separate incident. In fact, Terrell, in federal custody awaiting trial, called into our interview from jail.
Are you guys an honest, straightforward, above-board company?
Yes.
Telling us his criminal charges have no bearing on his business with D.C. government.
No, why would it? The city contracted District Logistics. I'm dealing with something personal.
D.C. government told us it's reviewing invoices submitted by District Logistics for payment, but the district cannot pay subcontractors directly because they have no contractual relationship with the district. D.C. added, debarment of District Logistics would not impact processing of approved invoices for services already rendered.
Once we get paid, everybody will get paid.
And a lot of people are waiting to be paid. D.C. Councilmember Brianne Nadeau, who has oversight of public works spending, tells WUSA 9, my team and I are working to see if there is a way to get payment to the subcontractors without having to wait for an extensive legal process that seems to be in the works. But again, the problem is D.C. government says they cannot pay the subcontractors directly, which means we're kind of at an impasse right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. We forget what it was like because now it's nice and cool and we don't have to worry about that. But these are real people. They worked a lot of hours. Do we know how much money they're owed?
Well, listen to this. District Logistics told me that they pay about $200 to $250 an hour, and some of these truck drivers were on the clock for 300 hours. Now, I'm a journalist, so I don't do math, but you pull out a calculator, you add that up, more than $60,000 some of these drivers could be owed. And all these months later, they still have not seen that money after that, miserable fight they had to wage in those trucks trying to clear our streets.
And that's really their season.
That's it.
Their season
That's
to
it.
make their money.
That's it. And Mr. Hawkins told me, it was a blessing and a curse because it was terrible what was happening to the city. But this was an opportunity for them to make a ton of money, and they thought they made it, and now they still haven't been paid.
They still haven't been paid. It's hard to imagine. It's now May 14th, and they've been waiting all these months.
Yeah.
Let's hope your reporting and the pressure here gets them what
Speeds
they
it up.
deserve.
That's right, one way or the other.
All right, Eric, thank you.